Okay,
Yes.
so tonight we're going to talk about one of the biggest deals in confirmation. Most people are kind of probably terrified of it. In my last church, we called it the God paper. And at this church, they're more civilized, so they call it, hey, can you guys like put your feet down and look at me when I'm talking to you? You can stop drawing.
Is that
Thank
pie
you.
on your sock?
And here we're more civilized, so we call it the statement of faith. Ooh. And I just want to make sure we're all on the same page as to how to write the statement of faith. So first of all, it's a one-page paper. It has to fill a page just like the statement of faith instructions does.
What?
12-point font. You can use Times New Roman or Arial or
What?
Calibri fonts.
It's not even my favorite font.
What's your favorite font?
About
Railway.
fiction.
What?
Railway.
No.
It's like
Railway's
the
right.
A's like overlap and it's like really cool.
How about Princeton?
A 12-point normal font, okay? And generally, it's gonna fill the page. You're gonna put your name on the top,
Can I put my
and
name
then
on
you're
the
gonna do the writing. Now, this is your statement of faith. This is not something you have to answer that we have a standard answer and it has to be the same as our standard answer. This is your answer. It's where your faith is right now. So you don't even have to like try to make up something that we would like to hear, okay? So it's personal, yet at the same time, a few people are gonna see it. So you're gonna give it to me, and Angie and Dana will probably see it, and Chris and Eric, the ministers here, will see it.
It's not even
And
personal.
Eric will even use some of your quotes in the sermon that day. So it's not
So it's
totally
not
private.
personal at all.
It's not totally private. It's personal, but it's not private. And he's not gonna use something
I
in
know.
the sermon that would embarrass you.
Yeah.
Do I should read these in front of everybody?
No.
No.
No, we're gonna take a little piece of your statement out and read those at the end, so we'll have 21 statements read. And then Eric will pull some things out and talk about those, so there will be some things out there, so if you want to express something more privately, like put it in parentheses and we'll take it out, but so that we can have that communication, okay? Yeah,
Like, how does this work? Like on Confirmation Sunday?
well, we're not talking about that, we're talking about the paper. We'll talk about confirmation later. So, so you're gonna take,
Some water?
you're gonna take your notebooks home so you can use your notes from all the classes.
I don't see
And
no
if you
notebook.
need your reflections that you wrote, we'll give you the reflections that you wrote over the last 2 years. You're gonna use the Phoenix Affirmations book. You're gonna think about all the outreaches that you did, and these are gonna combine to form, where you feel like you're at in your faith right now.
Isn't there like a special day we have to come and write our statements or something?
It's like today, next week, and the next week.
Well,
If they have to be done by the 13th.
okay.
So, but we don't wanna do them on the 13th.
That's a bad idea.
We want to,
No.
because most of you
Wait, so I'm
will,
supposed to go home and do this?
most of you will submit something, is this okay? And we'll be like, no, you need to do this too. And then, you gotta rewrite it. So it's, the final version of it is due on the 13th. Okay. So, and you'll email that to me or text it to me or whatever. I'm also actually gonna put it online, so if you wanna do it online, you can submit it there and then we'll just have it, okay? So you can go to that confirmation page and then just click on Statement of Faith and you can submit it there. So this is what you're gonna do. There's 2 categories of things. One is kind of like about faith and another one is about like confirmation. So you're gonna pick 1 or 2 things from each category. If you feel like you can't say that much about one thing, then feel free to incorporate another thing. But you don't have to answer them like they're questions. Just write like you would write, just kind of describe where your faith is at. So you can use, you know, before and after I went through confirmation, these were my views. If you want to talk about a particular Bible passage, you can do that. Or an experience with God, maybe on a meditation or on one of our urban plunges or something like that. I know that God loves me beyond my wildest imagination because, you can talk about that. The church influences my life. Mission and service, those things that are, we call them outreaches. Those things you can talk about. I think being a Christian means, that's an interesting question. And I think God is calling me to. We talked a lot about, you know, what you're kind of on this earth for, or what you were made to do, and so you can talk about that if you had an experience with that. So you're going to pick one or two things from that list, and then one or two things from my favorite affirmation, or my favorite outreach, or my favorite educational activity. Maybe you want to talk about one of the speakers that came in and something you learned through that. One new thing I learned about my faith, and something I learned about another faith. Maybe you caught something on that. And since going through confirmation, my view on blank has changed. Maybe there's a certain category of thing where things changed. It changed your point of view. So, any questions on that? Yeah.
Can we put all this stuff in there?
No.
Anything but one.
You're gonna pick one or two and write more thoughtfully and more fully.
So,
If you picked all of them, it would just be kind of like vague statements about each one of those things. So we want you to actually write something more
maybe
worthy.
like 4 things from this list in there.
4 things. 2 from the top, 2 from the bottom,
Or one. Says
or 1, with a total of 2.
One or two.
Well, if you picked 1, it would be 1 from there and 1 from there.
3.
Minimum 2, maximum 4. Could be 3.
Pretty cool.
Any other important questions? Thank you for those. Are you scared?
Nope.
Yes.
Terrified.
Who's a good writer? All
I
right.
don't know.
Oh, we got a couple.
Maybe.
Let me just say this, and it's actually totally genuine. If you're not a good writer and you'd rather just talk about it and I'll write it down, come see me and we'll do it that way. I don't want you to try to, you know, be an eloquent writer all of a sudden. So we can have a conversation. I'll record it. We'll put it on paper, and then you'll see whether that's good enough. Okay. So I don't want to have to be. It doesn't have to be this highly academic thing, but we do need to get your thoughts out somehow. So good. All right, we're done early.
Cool. Nice.